Hello, welcome back to another video. Yep, I've stopped counting already. So, without further ado, let's get into it. We are going to talk today about libraries and collections, okay? So, again, this is just before we get into some very specific tip type videos and things. I wanted to make my first three videos just kind of general, just talking, getting used to being on camera because this is my first time, as if you haven't noticed, you know. Look at the state of me. Also, I'm doing these back to back. I'm not, I don't just have the same shirt for a whole lot of weeks. This is the same day and basically back to back. And like I said, I wanted this all to be organic. So it's recording once and that's it. Whatever mistakes I make, whatever I say, it's said, it's done, because that's the way it should be. And we're all on a journey of learning. So, like I said, libraries and collections. I want to talk about some libraries and collections. Something controversial that I know a lot of people are going to have an opinion on, a very strong opinion on, and hopefully you'll put that opinion in the comments so it gets me some, traffic, gets me some algorithmic tickles, so it gets all, shown to people. Yeah. uh and then I can do this for a living. Wouldn't that be awesome? So, libraries and collections. So without further ado, before we start, let's do the usual. I forgot it the last time. If you like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification button so you get notified of new videos. So let's crack on and get into it. Was it hard? Very good. RTMA Studios over at Instagram. So if you want to link up there, let's network, let's chat, send messages, ask questions, a bit more one to one, if you like, you know. And yeah, if you follow, I'll follow. I'll follow back. We'll follow each other. Get our numbers up, which would be awesome. So. Yet again, I have my beautiful mistress of DAW here, Reason, and I'm going to show you some of these libraries through Reason, and then we'll talk about the controversial bit at the end. Okay, so Reason has its own instruments, effects, utilities, and players and stuff. Can I move this out here to show you? No, it doesn't stretch out. Anyway, so got our instruments here. Reason has its own instruments. Some of these are paid for. Most of these are come with Reason as standard. And if I just type instruments on its own, get a guitar, get loop players, things like that, and that's awesome. And we'll get into these at some point in another video. We can go through them as a more like Reason specific, but what I'd like to do is just talk in general about libraries. I touched on the previous video where libraries are important, of course, to get some quality sounds and some unique sounds and things that will make you stand apart either from others, or that'll help you compete with, others with quality and stuff. There's no doubt that having a high-end string library is going to sound much better than a free or super cheap string library, although there's still techniques and things that you would need to know, use, and apply so that it does actually sound natural and great. But it's still quite important to have a nice collection of libraries. Now, for what I do, I'm into like micro sync licensing. I contribute to Motion Array, not quite a lot to be honest, because they're very strict, which is good. That's not a complaint. Um, because it really helps. I'll get into that in another video, but I also upload to Pond 5 and the Fab Marketplace for video game creators and stuff. And yeah, I mean, you need to be able to cover, for what I do, you need to be able to cover a lot of genres and things. I touched on that in the previous video, where if you want to make an like Japanese sounding track, or a Viking sounding track, or a dance track, an African kind of vibe, or whatever it is, um having libraries there that will help aid that, with unique instruments, with unique sounds and stuff like that, and rhythms and beats and all that good stuff, can just really open up your options, and help you to either land more work, or deliver more types of work that would get picked and would get used, and obviously get you paid. So yeah, having a lot of those libraries is really good. I love, of course, because it's so handy, the native instruments. So if I actually, instead of opening through there, 2 seconds, and I'll just drag this over. So this is my native instruments, what do you call it, interface, and I'll just show my library. So in my library, which I'm planning to go through each of the kind of individual kind of libraries that I have in this, uh, and let you hear them, let you see what they're like, and it might encourage you to buy them, or it might discourage you. It might not do what you thought it was going to do, or it might exceed expectations. I think it's a nice thing to be able to see all this stuff. And I, of course, before I bought anything, have went on to YouTube to check out reviews and things, just to see what something sounds like, because these are an investment. They do and can cost quite a bit of money. And I have waited for sales and things, but there's been other times where I've gotten a really good payday from, some sync license or whatever, and I've decided to just splash out and buy a whole bunch of stuff, because I couldn't wait. Money was burning a hole in the old pocket. But that's what happens. Again, it was to try and get a whole lot of stuff that was unique, different, or would help increase quality. So yeah, as I say, native instruments quite good. It's all in the one place. I've got like a whole lot of drum sets, strings, Arcus. Oh, I love Arcus. East Asia, Cuba, um, ethereal earth. Is that how you pronounce that one? Evolution, Devastator. That sounds sweet, doesn't it? Fantasy, fables, festive bells, emotive choir, fruit shake, glaze. There's glaze too, but yeah, glaze is nice. Groth, oh my baby, I love this one. This is one of my favorites. And yeah, India, Ireland, Irish harp. If you can tell by my accent, I'm Northern Irish, by the way. Shout out to the Irish, we love you too. But Northern Ireland, it's a wee bit contentious, really. So yeah, I'm Northern Irish. Jacob Collier, yeah, in the comments. I don't want no hate. All right, I don't want any hate at all. I love you guys. You love me. Let's just keep it like that. All right. So there's the choir, kinetic treats. Is this Kithara, Kitara, Kit Kitara or something? I don't even know how to say it. It looks beautiful though, and it sounds just as good. Again, we can review these. Lumina's beautiful. Middle East. You can see how it's quite diverse in a way. Just this one collection. You get guitars, ukulele, whatever. Orchestras, free. I like that word. Free's good. Maybe we could do some videos on some free stuff as well. Violin textures. Oh, this is beautiful. I really like this one as well. I could actually, this is the one sample library where I could just sit and play, and I haven't recorded anything, I haven't scored anything. I'm just sitting playing, and then I find after like 30, 40 minutes, all I've done is just sit and hold chords because it just sounds so beautiful. So that's I like when a library just absorbs you, and that's how I chill out. West Africa, beautiful. That it's really really good, and the Yang Kin. Dude, I don't know how to say half of these, so I apologize to my Chinese audience. I have no idea how to say this. Woodwinds are beautiful as well. So you can see there are a lot of different instruments that will help cover many genres, and within some of these libraries they're quite complex. They have a lot of different instruments within themselves. For example, in Groth has the Tagel harpa, which is that kind of like Viking sounding stringed instrument. Best way to describe it, obviously drums. It also has some kind of like basic orchestral sounds which don't sound basic, but you know, you've got your cellos and stuff and some string sections as well. A lot of rhythmical kind of sounds and percussion, chants, shouts, that kind of thing. Oh, this one, Hunter Rogerson, Hearth and Hollow. This is awesome. This very beautiful. It's recorded quite low, so I always have to turn the volume up quite a bit. But yeah, this is pretty good. But yeah, as I say, covers everything. It's not the be all end all library. There's, you know, I have UJam. There's my East West. Oh, East West. I'll show that one. So I open up the East West. Okay, give you a wee look here. So the two orchestras that I have would be the Hollywood Orchestra, an orchestrator, and the Fantasy. Ooh, Fantasy as well. This covers quite a lot too. It's beautiful. I mean, I just can't express it enough how awesome this sounds, and I can't wait to share that with you in a video at some point too. But for now, I'm just talking about libraries, not demoing yet, so that you know, come back later for more. Like, where's that video he promised us? And remind me in the comments. All right. So lastly, the controversial part. Are you ready? So I'm gonna find it first here. Now this is quite controversial. I guarantee you're gonna have something to say about this. Let's open it up on the other screen here. Okay, so I'm dragging it over. Dun dun dun, controversy. So if you're new into this probably won't be an issue, and you might think, what's wrong? There's a lot of veterans right now shuddering, like their spidey senses are going crazy. So this is my sample library, and I think it's very useful. And here's the controversial thing I'm going to say. I think it's very useful and beneficial for producers, especially in the sync world and, you know, multi-genres and things like that, to build up your own sample library. Now these can be your own actual samples and sound design. You know, sit and experiment, create a lot of stuff that I would add as sound effects and things like that at Motion Array. I would put in here as well, that I can dip into as if it was, you know, samples, and they were obviously created by me. But the majority of this is made up of libraries from other companies, other places. A lot of it is free, I have to be honest, um, because a lot of the free stuff is still really good, and I appreciate it. Sematics and Ghost Hack, you're brilliant. But before I get into it, the reason why this is controversial is because there'll be a lot of people who say, "Oh, well, you didn't make the sample, and that track isn't really your track because you used a sample and whatever." And some people in recent times have also equated that to like AI and stuff. Like, oh, if you're using samples, it's just like AI. You know, you're not even creating anything, and it's like, even people who are using these samples as they are, they're supposed to be production ready samples. That's what the aim is. they're also things that you can still manipulate. You can still cut them up. You can still change the pitch, the speed, whatever it is you want to be doing to them. You can for your production. Um, my view is that these serve a purpose, and they serve the purpose very, very well. And that purpose can be whatever you want it to be, and that's just to be frank. If you want to use most samples to make a track, then do that, because you're allowed to, and it still is your track, and it doesn't matter what that guy says or this guy says or whatever. If it's legal and you've got all the rights for it and you want to use it and that's what you want to do it. Of course, you'll not be learning an awful lot when you're making that production. But if you're at the point where you can actually produce and you're making productions and you have learned that, then samples are completely fine in that regard. Again, just for your own benefit, if you're starting out in this industry, samples can kind of hinder you, because it stops you from trying to create things like that on your own or learn how they're created and stuff. So again, I wouldn't say don't use them, but there's definitely a controversy there, and some people will be like, "Oh," what I say, especially the older crowd, uh, people my age, people like who've been in as long as me, um, you know, back in the day when you would hire a session musician to play the drums, to play the guitar, whatever, and you record that session musician, and maybe even like me, I'm sure you've been in this position where the session musician's been able to do things that weren't scripted, and they were able through their skill to create riffs to help out in a certain way and create these recordings that are essentially like these samples, and that's the way I see it. It's like I've paid or been given these samples, um, and the only thing I haven't done is actually record it. And yeah, so I think you use a way. If you really hate samples and you think it's disgraceful, maybe you're in the wrong industry, because I really think if you're going to be snobbish about using samples, then maybe you're the type of person that is going to make music and feel really hurt when people say meh, or it's all right, or so anyway, how was your day? And they don't even care what it sounds like. Um, you're probably the type of person that would take it more to heart. So, chill out, let people make with whatever they want to make. And at the end of the day, if it sounds good, it sounds good. And it's entertainment. You get to enjoy something. So yes, looking at my sample pack, it's quite a lot. And I love it. Absolutely love it. I've got Music Radar. I've got Ghost Hack, as I said, Somatics. Oh, MIDI. So there was a company. I'll not say the name because I heard that they're quite difficult, and I've only started this channel. I don't want to get like taken down or anything like that. But there's a particular company that was selling chord packs, like amazing chord packs and all these different chords that you can bring into your session, and you can get them for free. They're available online for free. And one of the coolest things that I had was chords. So if I just open this up here, you get all the chords divided. Um, yeah, there you go. It's actually said all chords, and it's loading up. And there you go. And then you can drag these in. .mid is MIDI. So when you drag these in, I'm gonna drag it here to show you. No, oh, I'll do it through the actual dot. Anyway, so all the chords written out for you, Roman numerals. Again, it's something that we'll hopefully get to in later videos, because this stuff I found to be quite important. And I didn't start my production career knowing about chord progressions. It was more natural for me. But then when I had questions, when I had some difficulties, learning the basics of some of this really helped with really bringing my music and my sounds together, especially when I needed to change elements of it. It just made it a lot easier. It's like mathematics in a way, kind of figuring stuff out. Really, really good. Anyway, there was that. That's just chords. There's chord progressions, which is pretty good. Major, minor. Another cool thing was MIDI drums. So I'm not a drummer, and sometimes it's mind blowing how drummers drum. congratulations, you guys are awesome. But especially toms. For me, it's like, it sounds like 50, but it's like there's only three. Anyway, so as complicated as it might be to someone like me, having some drum MIDI is really, really useful, because I can bring them into, certain libraries, realistic sounding libraries like the Abbey Road series or Modern Drummer and stuff, and bring these in, and they sound beautiful. And then obviously you might have to, adjust it. Maybe the kick's not where the kick should be and stuff like that. But all the patterns and the rhythms and stuff are there, and it really helps to spark your creativity. And some of these are ready to go. You might hear it and think, this is awesome, I'm going to keep that. Again, I encourage you to use these as like springboards, to try and learn, try and manipulate, try and grow with it, so that you can create these things or know how they're created, and not just rest on the defaults and stuff like that, because that's what's important. If there's anything to take away from this samples and sample libraries, it's all there to help you. And don't get into a bad habit of being so lazy that you just use everything as default. There's no problem using presets and defaults and all the rest of that. There's no problem. But at this stage where you're learning, you're growing, it doesn't benefit you unless you are actually, for that particular project, just trying to make something, for sync or to get paid or whatever. But I would encourage you, if it's something personal, like, just experiment and really, really try and get under the hood on these things and learn why it does what it does, and what you can do to it to manipulate it, how you can recreate something similar, so you're getting these patterns, these ideas in your brain, and that's what you want, so that you can, in 1, 2, 5, 10, 20 years, you already understand it, and you can rest on your laurels sometimes and use the defaults, use the presets. But using presets, defaults, things, anybody can, and they can sound like you. And if you're really trying to sound unique and stand apart from everybody, then learn how these things work and let them serve you, so that you can still make it unique, and the reason why people want to choose you over any other producer or beat maker or whatever it is. So just to show you in my DAW and Reason, I bring up the browser. In Reason, you have the browser, and the browser is where you can have all your shortcuts. I have my sample library here, and there's all the folders, the somatics, there's the drums, there's the MIDI chord packs and stuff, and all the rest of it. The cool thing about this update is that the Reason updated with the browser, and it used to look like this in the side, and then it changed to this. And then I think through popular demand, they introduced this wee button to be able to choose if you want to go back to the old way. I like the old way, maybe just because I'm old, but it's because the browser box doesn't go out of the frame, which really annoys me, because I want to be able to bring this into the other screen, for example, or take it out of the box kind of thing, but it doesn't. So anyway, I like it like this. The cool thing about it is, you can obviously go into your folder when you're in tree mode, because it's like a tree, right? Branches. You can go in, you can have a look. Say if I go into Apex one shots, for example. Oh yeah. Oh, we glockenspiel. Mm. Yeah, I could do it all day. There we go. So that's tree view. The other view is flat. Now, before I change the flat, I'll show you when I change the flat, right? So say out of my hundreds and hundreds of packs, I wanted to look for, let's say, risers. Okay, so I would type in, in fact, I'll just no S, riser, right? So typed in riser, and out of the hundreds of packs, it's kept all the packs that contain the word riser, but you'd have to go through each one. If I change to flat view, it essentially just flattens it out, so I don't have to go in any folder, and then I can just quickly scour down and sit for an hour and just go through all different types of risers. So let's pick one at random. Okay, this is genuinely random. Oh, San Holo. Let's try this one. Here we go. Ooh, baby. Lovely. Lovely. There you go. Or we go stack riser. Hi-fi. What do you think it's going to sound like? Ready? Do you think it's going to sound like really digital, really grainy? Here we go. Ooh. Very matrixy, isn't it? Pretty cool. But yeah, there you go. So that's awesome. Back to tree view, just make it easier. And of course you can do the same thing in that view as well, and that's fine. Gives you more information contained at some point. And as I say, these are really handy because a lot of sample packs aren't just like, you know, cheats, like they're melody loops and stuff. You got hi-hats, you got effects. Perfect. You know, sometimes these things come in really handy when you're just looking an extra wee sound or just something to kind of play around with to create another type of sound as well. So one shots are quite nice. You can put a one shot in a sampler, for example, and getting carried away here, but I don't care. I'm going to show you, so I'll bring up a wee sampler. All right, so wee sampler. I'm going to open it up. I'll bring in. Let's try that one. So bring it in, and then on the key. If I want to maybe put the release up on that. There you go. So one shots can be a lot of fun for, you know, it's basically like an instrument in itself. And then if we wanted to let's put a lute in there just for fun. All right, so that'll be lute. You can start layering stuff up as well. Maybe mix it a wee bit. Wee bit of pan, wee bit of pan. I want to hink, and then let's try it. There you go. See, you can start making your own instruments as well. Save a bit of money if you can't afford a new synth or something. Anyway, so there you go. That's pretty much everything I want to talk about in general about samples and sample libraries and stuff. Again, comment, what do you think about samples? What is your opinion on samples? Not AI. That's a completely separate thing. So leave that out of the conversation. Samples. Are you for them? Against them? Is it only if they don't sound what they sounded like before that you can use them? Or are you allowed to use them as they are? Especially if you've purchased them, like a session musician, for example. So yeah, what's your opinion? And yeah, thanks. So see you in the next one.